Today's episode is brought to you by Progressive, where drivers who save by switching save nearly $750 on average. Quote now at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $744 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2022 and May 2023. Potential savings will vary. Thanks for supporting the Fable and Folly Network. Here's another show we know you'll love.
Where am I? Welcome to Desert Skies, traveler. Your journey through the physical plane has come to an end. I am the attendant. My colleague here is the mechanic.
Yo.
This is your last stop on your way to the great beyond. It's our job to make sure you're prepared for the ride. Now, before hitting the road, we have an impressive selection of over 34 varieties of microwavable burritos. What's going on?
There's gotta be a better afterlife than this. I mean, come on!
That's offensive.
Something seems to be wrong with me.
You left something major undone.
I have a life outside of this gas station, you know.
You quite literally do not.
Any hobbies?
Nope.
Ever travel?
Nope.
Love interest?
Are you kidding?
Oh my god. You're like the human version of a plain bagel.
Cash register.
How can I help you, attendant?
Play some music?
You got it.
It's kind of funny, though. What I needed wasn't back there. It was here, waiting for me.
I wonder what it feels like, Mac, to miss the physical plane, the people you left behind.
You know, I had a wife who died 3 years ago.
Wish I could go back.
No, you don't need to go back. You just need to be here.
And a new traveler approaches. Ready, team?
Ready.
Attendant.
Good. Let's do this.
Find Desert Skies wherever you listen to podcasts.
In this world, there are more stories than slang words used by meddling kids. Some are cronk tasty, some are gronzer, some are... Ooh, that one's really dirty. I'm not gonna say that. But they're all worth zum-zubbing. So, open your trunch hole wide and listen. Welcome to BRUSHTOWN Stories, Episode 19, Since Sliced Bread, Part 1.
Senator Marissa McMenamin was in his well-appointed office going over changes to the new low-cost tooth care initiatives he was presenting to the Health Committee. He was worried that Senator Browbridge was going to demand cuts. It was a petty game of one-upsmanship when it came to entitlement programs, but by the Eartooth, he'd get this legislation passed. There was a knock on the door, and then his assistant, Ellis Boole, entered. Senator? Ellis asked. Thurlow looked up at him. Boole scowled before he continued. Your sister is here. Thurlow adjusted his glasses and rubbed his chin. Great, he thought. Just what I don't need right now. Show her in, he said. Marissa McMenamin was 12 years his junior and was the happy accident of his parents' later years. She was the baby of the family and had floated from scheme to scheme after dropping out of Reed College. Last he heard, she was developing an opera based on the former First Lady called the Electric Barbara Bush Acid Test, and the music was all keytar-based. Thurlow didn't know what a keytar was, but he was sure it was dumb. Marissa was dressed in ripped jeans and a sweater. Her hair pulled back into a ponytail, she had on heavy eyeliner that gave her eyes a cat-like appearance. Formal dress today? Thurlow said with a frown. You are the worst, she said. I need a favor. The senator put his hands on the desk and pushed out his chair. During the second generation in the post-founding of New Molar, it was Dormish McMenamin who was forced to lead when Horace went to his self-imposed exile. I'm not here for a history lesson. Low. He hated that nickname. Low. But then again, he didn't like nicknames to begin with. In fact, Thurlow wrote a whole essay to the Washington Post opposing the arbitrary shortening of names. A young boy in Delaware wrote him a letter saying it inspired him. Thurlow had framed the letter. Mostly, people only wrote to their senators to complain, so any sort of positive fan mail was a welcome change. But op-eds and fan mail were not the order of the day. He would not let his little sister derail him. He pushed forward. We are the direct descendants of Dormish. It is in our blood to make societies better, to lead. Even women like you have done some great works. Prots Vita led the raid on Blackfoot. Marianne Boole McMenamin was a nurse during the Civil War. Bellicose Helena was at the signing of the 23rd Amendment. Yeah, I know, and I'm trying. Really. Look, you're always so... this. I voted for you, so really you work for me, if you think about it. I pay your salary. Marissa sat on his desk, which she knew would annoy him. That's not... What do you want? What if I told you I had an amazing investment opportunity, not just for you, but maybe the government itself? I'd say you were a liar, Thurlow replied. She continued undeterred. Do you like knowing what time it is? Do you like eating? What if you could combine them? Introducing the Sand Watch. The watch that tells you what sandwich you want. Oh, look, it's 3:15. Peanut butter and jelly. Wow. Thurlow was trying to figure out if she was serious. She handed him the watch. Indeed, there was a PB&J in the center. This is absurd. He inspected it. It appeared to be a simple digital watch that also had preloaded images of sandwiches, which it would display with the time. Somehow this foolish juxtaposition was supposed to inform you both chronologically and gustatorially. Marissa hopped to her feet. Listen, I worked on this for a while. We have about 10 prototypes out to different places. Some in the hands of very important people. Hands, get it? Watch humor. Anyway, you need to jump on this now, or I'll take on other offers. Take on other offers, Thurlow said. I'm serious, Lo. Other governments. Other societies. You do not want to miss out on the Sandwatch. If, in this whole wide world of ours, there is some fool dumb enough to invest in your little pointless bauble, then I say jump at the opportunity. Even with a little sales-related small talk, Marissa could tell Thurlow wasn't going to invest. She stuffed her hands into her pockets, which she did when she was angry, and headed out into the bitter DC winter.
The Fable and Folly Network supports creators of exceptional audio stories, including the one you're listening to right now. If you love our shows, we want to hear from you. Complete our listener survey at fableandfolly.com/survey. This will help us learn more about you, what you like, what you'd like to hear more of, and how we can maintain an inclusive, safe atmosphere. As a thank you for your participation, we have extras and behind-the-scenes content from your favorite shows. Fans make the network what it is. Thanks for listening, and we can't wait to hear from you. Find our listener survey at fableandfolly.com/survey today. Looking to get out of the ads and back to the story? Fable and Folly Plus is a new way to support the creators you love. The podcast you're listening to right now and more than 60 others can be heard ad-free for as little as $4 a month by visiting fableandfolly.com/plus. And now you'll start to see Fable and Folly Network shows are offering bonus content to all existing and new supporters. Find exclusive new episodes from shows like Civilized and Realms of Peril and Glory. Fable and Folly Plus. Sign up today at fableandfolly.com/plus.
There was a soft powder on the mall as she walked towards the Washington Monument. But before she even got to the reflecting pool, a red limousine pulled up and stopped next to her. The window rolled down and a large woman with a metal plate riveted to half of her face called to Marissa. Are you Marissa McMenamin? The woman asked. Are you a debt collector or a bounty hunter? She replied. No, the woman replied. In that case, yeah, I'm Marissa. The woman smiled. A whirring like that of a motor accompanied her upturned lips. Her eyes seemed to zoom in on Marissa. Please, come with me. The Great Republic of Bazamia would like to make you an offer. Now, Marissa knew that Bazamia was founded and run by a supervillain, and while business with this pseudo-republic was frowned upon, it wasn't technically illegal. So perhaps out of spite or just disinterest in villainous politics, she hopped into the limo. The woman was Ulsa Kilmost, a woman who was rebuilt by Dr. Sonar after a fight against Super Agent Bill Brill on Moonbase Mu. One of her hands was replaced with a cannon. Her flesh had taken on an almost purplish hue, and her veins were visible under her skin. They had an odd black glow to them, but Marissa tried to keep it professional and not stare at Ulsa. Marissa started to ask about why Bazamia wanted to talk with her, but Ulsa cut her off, saying that out in the open they were subject to the many ears of their enemies. So they drove in silence until they arrived at the Bazamian embassy. It was a former mental hospital, and the renowned mad architect, Holiday Roman, had embellished the Gothic elements to a perverse degree. Elsa took Marissa up to a small meeting room. Various chains and spikes decorated the walls. Elsa gestured to a chair with her cannon arm. "Don't worry," Elsa said. "It's not loaded." She laughed. Marissa sat. Suddenly, she was nervous. Maybe this wasn't such a good idea. "Look," Marissa said, "if this is about my brother or the government and junk, I don't know about that. I barely even know how the government works. Like the 3 branches, I thought that they were executive, vanilla, and chocolate for like a long time. I'm still not sure why only chocolate can declare war." "You're funny," Elsa said. "I don't understand jokes myself. That part of my brain was lost. But I was trained to recognize and appreciate humor in an abstract way, like a bear enjoying a Monet painting. But rest easy. Your brother, your government is of no concern to us. You are what we care about." "Oh, that's sweet," Marissa said. "Sweet as donkey pie," Elsa said with a whirring smile. Elsa pressed a green button on the wall. A small hatch opened, and a person dressed completely in black leather and day-glow blue goggles entered. It knelt before Elsa and offered up to her a small box. Elsa took the box and then kicked the person to the floor. It scurried off back into the hatch, which closed behind it. "You did create this?" "Yes," Elsa said, handing the box to Marissa. Marissa opened it and took out one of the sandwich prototypes. "Hey, my sandwich, you got one." "Indeed we did. The Bazamian Republic is very interested in this device and its sandwich-predicting powers." "Well, it is the watch that always knows what you want between bread." That's our current slogan. I know it's a little bit long, but we're open to workshopping it. Getting it pithy? Marissa replied. "Marketing is not a concern," Elsa replied. "Fair. Great. So we're going to need some startup capital. I mean, we made the prototypes, but really to mass produce them." Marissa didn't want to get into the fact that her sandwich company was deeply in debt, or that they had no funding or means, and the office she was working out of was in the back of an erotic biscuit bakery. And by the back, she meant that she ran an extension cord from the bakery to her car to keep her computer running, and that lately she'd been subsisting on day-old, butt-shaped buttermilk biscuits she found in the dumpster. "Money is of no concern," Elsa said. Marissa perked up at this. "Our dear leader, Unstoppabilis, would personally like to discuss your sandwich." Cool. So maybe next Tuesday? When is he in town? "Oh, he is never in town. But we would like to offer you an all-expenses-paid trip to Ulanpopolis, the capital of Bazamia, where you shall meet with Unstoppabilis at his lair." That is... I thought Americans can't visit Bazamia. "Well, we'll have to transfer you in Moldova. And once there, we can issue you a special visa and a visiting diplomat from South Ossetia. It's the same loophole that allowed Johnny Guitar to play Unstoppabilis' birthday bash." Okay, we can do that. And by all expenses, are we talking drinks? Yes. Alcoholic drinks? Yes. Top shelf? Yes. Is there a limit? Like, is this a you give me a bunch of drink tickets, but once they're gone, I'm on my own? Or is this like that Gigi Scrumptious Black card that gives you infinite macaroni for life? I think you're getting hung up on the details. The devil is in the details. I want all I can drink. Any drink, anytime. No bar closes at 11. No, we won't fill up your tub with gin. If I want a hot tub of whiskey, you say bourbon or rye. That's my terms. Oh, and donuts. Like 8 or 9 donuts. Marissa was proud of her tough negotiating stance. She smirked at Elsa. Elsa's flesh seemed to ripple with a mauve color for a moment, and her eyes flashed green. She put her cannon to her chin and considered before saying, "You are a tough and shrewd negotiator, but we have a deal." And after 2 long flights and a layover at a rather boring airport, Marissa found herself on the crater-pocked shores of the Bazamian lava fields. Jagged rocks burst through the earth as patchy yellow grass died in the heat. What few trees were there seemed dead, their branches seemingly reaching toward the sky as if asking the gods why they were ever born. Marissa clutched her duffel bag and whispered to herself, I think I really beefed this.
BRUSHTOWN Stories is a Roy Gold production. It was written by Jonathan Goldberg with music by David Origlieri. Marissa is Annette Hammond. Find out more about the show and cast at podmusical.com. Find out what happens to all your favorite characters on Season 2 of The Fall of the House of Sunshine, coming March 2018. Find out what happens to the character you have a crush on. Yes, we know, it's obvious, but don't worry, we won't tell. On Season 2 of The Fall of the House of Sunshine, coming March 2018. Thanks for listening, and have a suntabulous bicuspid of a day.
The Fable and Folly Network, where fiction producers flourish.